Hey, YouTube. So, I'm just gonna try and show this off here. This is Emperor Ferdinand II. Mainly, I guess Austria was his core thing. And he pretty much, let's see, what did he do? I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. He financed Columbus's trip to America in what was it, 1600s, and he pretty much made Spain. Got all the countries together to make up Spain. A lot of other stuff. He's a very influential 30-year war. It's kind of his thing. Not necessarily a good thing. Wars are hardly ever a good thing. But he's a pretty balls to the wall kind of guy. The Pope, forget the Pope's name. He's like the second one. Pope John II, I think, gave him the name. What was it? The Christian. So he's a very religious guy, but his armor is just killer. And this is not exactly what his armor looked like. You could still see it if you look online, even on YouTube. Emperor Ferdinand II's armor. And you will see this. But it is just so detailed for 1/6 scale. The actual armor is like 3 times more detailed. They got etchings, they got sculpts, they got basically a big gold statue on top of his head. I don't know if it's actual gold because armor has to be light. Look at this thing. It's just nuts. It's beautiful. And there's a 1/6 scale figure under here. Each piece of this armor, the feet. You could take all this off and it's separate. That is separate from that. That is separate, well, of course, from the arms. But this middle part here is separate. That's separate. That's separate. All of it's separate. So if you take this thing apart, you actually have to unbuckle it. Okay? You don't want to. Ever. I wouldn't. But it is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at that. I may do some work on it at some point, maybe even electroplating. I don't know yet. It's beautiful the way it is. Do I want to screw it up or possibly screw it up? I don't know. Look at the detail on the sword. Just the sword. Look at that. Didn't even want to focus on it. I can't see this with the naked eye. That's solid copper, this whole thing right here. Copper at the top of the... Oh, God. I'm blanking on what this is. The sheath. Is that right? Sheath? Hilt? No, that's the hilt. Scabbard, maybe. I gotta look up my terminology for this old school stuff. But I believe it's a scabbard. That's copper, all copper down here. This is wood, painted wood. It's just, look at the buckle at the bottom of the foot. I believe that's real leather. I know this part right here, the belt holding it, the sword on this armor, that's real leather. The chainmail is not real on this. They do make some real chainmail for some of these figures, but it is kind of out of scale, and it's really noticeable in my opinion. So this kind of works. Then again, it is cheaper. I'm sure that helps things too as far as their decision. But man, this thing is just awesome. The cape is kind of meh, but it's not bad. I don't feel like I was gypped on it. Face is, 7 out of 10. It's like he's looking way up. Damn, just focus. There we go. Look at the detail on the helmet. There's a 2-part hinge on that helmet. You can lift it up at the base here, and also this here. You can lift that up. All the way up to pretty much the statue. Look at that. So that'll go over his face. You can take off the helmet if you like. You got the full head sculpt. I'm not going to take it apart or move it around. This thing is heavy. You know, it's going to be rough on the joints moving it around. So I'm just kind of leaving it be. But man, it's a glorious piece. It really is. And it honestly may have looked a little bit like overdone if they put any more detail on it. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, is that the actual armor? You know? And I looked at it, I looked it up, and it's not. It's not detail for detail what Emperor Ferdinand II wore. It's close, you know, like these faces on here. There's faces on the actual armor. There's a big detail over here with a face over it. Face is actually smaller on the real stuff. All the detail on the helmets. I mean, it's like they took a third of it. The most prominent stuff, and of course the angel on top. That's a big part of it. That's there. And they toned down the detail for a smaller figure. Honestly. And the only other thing that they kind of left out is, see where these kind of drapes are with the ribbons? That should be steel underneath those designs there. And it should be like a stripe all the way down, including this part, the apron part, and the leg, all the way down here too. So anytime you see those little ribbons here, that should be metal, just bare metal. And they didn't do that. That would have taken a lot of time and energy. Probably wouldn't be feasible. You know, people got to eat. So I am more than happy from what I see here. Maybe down the road, I'll add those details, electroplating, etc. Get this all gilded up. But right now, I am, wow, just that new car smell. You know, it's there. This thing is just like, ooh, just looking at the boots. Just that. Awesome. Awesome. Looking at the scepter. The scepter is probably the least detailed thing here. Oop, where'd it go? There you go. And maybe that's because they put a lot of weathering on it, but it's sharp. Has detail going all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. It's just crazy. I could sit here for an hour looking at everything from every angle. The back, well, I got the cape covering it, but there's detail on that too. The only thing that's uncovered is kind of his bum, you know, for sitting on a horse. You don't want to be scratching up your horse, you know. But man, the tail on there is amazing. And it's all hooked onto that one little point right there. Solid. It's very solid. Everything's spot on center-wise, you know. It's just crazy. Could probably bring up that shoulder, but it's all right. Just nuts. Nuts. Look at that detail. The camera has such a hard time with it. This is small stuff. I mean, I got older eyes now, but I can't make out those details without this, you know, very easily at all. It's just nuts. They went all out. It's a Coomodel, C-O-O model, one word. And they make all sorts of armors, but this is by far their most elaborate from what I've seen. And I'm awestruck. It's just nuts. And I believe this is the first review of it. It's not really a review. It's just, you know, I'm gushing, basically. Really, really nice. Anyhow, I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes. Y'all have a great one. Take care.